Well, it's day 33 of the video challenge. I made a mistake yesterday that I have to correct. There's old Frosty. Nice little spin in the desert. Anyway, I was striking about in my brain. It was not working at the moment for an example of hyperinflations in history. And instead of picking on Zimbabwe, or I might have mentioned Germany in the 30s, or numerous other hyperinflations, Venezuela. I mentioned the Netherlands and the tulip bubble, which it didn't seem right at the time when I said it, and I was mixing it up with the origins of the dollar, or the thaler or thaler. I don't know how to pronounce or how they pronounced it, but the tulip bubble was not a hyperinflation. It was just a speculative mania, and there's historical disagreements about how much. I've been looking it up this morning to correct my mistake. There's our historical disagreements as to how much, how many people in the Netherlands or Holland at that time were involved in the bubble. It might not have been as many as they like to say in the popular history, but that's beside the point. I was right that they did use what was called the thaler or thaler, T-H-A-L-E-R, which was actually a German or Austro-Hungarian minted coin. That was the Dutch pronunciation was closer to dollar, I guess, and then it got bastardized somewhere in the 1600s in the English, and it was called a dollar, or a taler, or dollar. Anyway, I didn't learn the whole history verbatim, but it's kind of cool. That was the origin of the U.S. dollar. Was I think they say they struck the first one in the year 1518 in early 1530s. And then they struck them as a silver coin that weighed about 27 to 30 grams, and that went on to be widely used in trade across Europe, Eastern Europe, and in the Netherlands and Spain, and the Spanish Empire used it. And this was actually the opposite of a hyperinflation story. It was stable for, I guess, about 400 years until the U.S. based the constitutional dollar on that weight, whatever it was, 30 grams or 31 grams. I should know the exact number of fine silver. And they finally stopped making them in 1935 when everyone was printing too much money once again, and people were starting to use more paper as paper claims on silver, to be redeemed to the bearer on demand. Oh, Frosty. Oh. Anyway, it's kind of some cool monetary history. The U.S. dollar is still legally, according to the Constitution, still defined as a certain weight of fine silver. That was never changed, except, I guess, after the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. They started to think they had a little more leeway, and I should go back and study exactly how it happened. But now we've got what we have now, where there is no metal backing to the dollar, and your mainstream modern economists would say that's a good thing, because that allows fiscal policy, and allows them to. They would say that prices going down over time with a steady currency would be a bad thing, because people would put off consumption, and they might not buy that cup of coffee today because they know it's going to be cheaper tomorrow, which is ridiculous on its face. And in order to believe that, you have to believe that the cost of living going down for everyday average citizens that save money is a bad thing. Anyway, that's the world we live in, thanks to modern, especially Keynesian economics, and basically the whole mainstream thinks that deflation is something to be feared, whereas really deflation is just the price of goods going down naturally with increased productivity and technology and people saving wealth denominated in commodities that can't be printed. Anyway, I'll quit saying anyway is another verbal tick. That's going to be all for today. It's pretty cool to look up some of that, the history of how the dollar came to be. And easy there, Frosty. He's a little riled up still. That's going to be all. I'm going to stop it there so I can get back and give this horse just a little more of a workout before I put him up, and get some good practice tomorrow. Had a good session this morning. Learn a little bit of something every day. That's the plan anyway. There it is anyway again. So with all that said, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.